everybody, and how are you faring? I hope the week has been beautiful. Mine has been. Continue to watch, like, share, comment, and for those of you who haven't done so yet, kindly subscribe. Our story today will be one on domestic violence, and it kind of buttresses the point some people make when they say that some women are the architects of their own misfortune in marriage. In this instance, this woman is in a relationship with a man. They're not married, they're just dating, boyfriend, girlfriend. And he has beaten her to a point where she ended up in hospital. So I'll just take the story word for word. So it is being reported online that a woman who was left unrecognizable after she was brutally battered by her fiancé has announced that she's staying with him and intends to go ahead with their wedding. A Miracle Unique, that's her name, took to Facebook on September 27, 2021. It's not a new story, but things like this will always stay relevant. So on the 27th of September 2021, she shared a photo of herself in a hospital. She was battered beyond recognition, had a red swollen eye, broken lips, and bruises on her face in the photo. She said she was beaten by her man and she did nothing to warrant the beating except that she tried to enjoy herself. Now, what her own version of enjoying herself is, we are not told. Nevertheless, less than 2 months after the incident, she is back with him, not minding warnings from people telling her she's making a mistake. She announced that she's going ahead to marry him by September 2022. Well, she still has at least a cool 10 months or so to change her mind. To the members of the public warning her not to, she told them that they are not in a position to judge her man since no one is perfect. She added that her man may not be perfect, but he's trying, and that's enough for her. I choose him to go through this thing we call life, and I will over and over again. Because when you love someone, you choose them over any and everyone. And when the world is against your significant other, it's your job to hold them up. She added, "Baby, we got this. It's always been us, never them." So now let's quickly read her social media post word for word. A Miracle Unique says, "As I sit here and think, I'm thankful for the man God has brought into my life. No, he isn't a perfect man, but he is a trying man. No one is perfect, and anyone who claims to be is a fraud. Anyone who knows me knows how far I've come, and it has everything to do with the man I'm choosing to be with for the rest of my life. I'm gonna speak once and once only upon our situation. I don't owe anyone an explanation of what happened that night, because what has happened was left in the past and will continue to be left in the past. We are transitioning and getting ready for our next step in life. My fiancé has took," not my word, hers, believe me. "My fiancé has took the right steps to get his family back, and when a man acknowledges his wrongs and takes the steps to fix what he has done, you have no choice but to accept a trying man, as he has always been. Bad things happen to good people all the time. But who are we to judge what the next person has done wrong when our hands aren't clean ourselves? I've never been one to feed into what the world has to say about me. Hell, I have to live this life, and at the end of the day, I'm gonna do what makes me happy, and the last 5 years, I've been more than happy to share my life with my fiancé and create the family we've always wanted and accomplish the dreams we have always had. This is my person, my soulmate. I choose him to go through this thing we call life, and I will over and over again. That being said, September 1, 2022, we're still coming for you. Save the date, because when you love someone, you choose them over any and everyone. And when the whole world is against your significant other, it's your job to hold them up. Baby, we got this. It's always been us, never them." She goes ahead to say, we effing with whoever makes us happy, and we're not explaining to nobody. And also, just to clear the air, I don't give a F how y'all feel about me. Keep feeling it. I find the whole thing a bit amusing, and let me explain why. First of all, it wasn't random strangers that put up her pictures on Facebook after she received that, Facebook or whatever other platform it is she's using, after she received that massive beating that ended up with her face looking deformed and her in hospital. She put it up herself. Now, a few weeks later, because she and the man has made up, it's nobody's business, nobody has any right to say anything. We never had any right to say anything until you brought it to public notice. And for my part, I keep reminding people that, yes, you're right. Your business is your business. But if you really feel that way about your business, then keep it private. If you keep your stuff private and people go dig it up and come and spread it out there, that's your personal life stuff, private, and people dig it up, well, that's a different ball game. And the thing is, if you're a celebrity, I'm sorry, even if you try to hide those things, those people without a conscience, they'll still go and dig it up and come and spread it around. Personally, that's not my strategy. For my part, if you choose to jettison the privileges that come with having a private life and begin to share your business on social media, if I stumble upon it, I will talk on it. Because you already gave me a license to do so by sharing it with the public. So that's one thing. You see, there are many women who have this mindset. Well, better the devil you know than the angel you don't know. He's trying. Nobody is a saint. Nobody is perfect, and all of this. Listen, my sister. Even the women that are not being beat up, still have husbands and partners that are flawed. It's just that they are flawed in a different way. Nobody is perfect, we agree. But when your imperfection is the type that has the potential to send me to the great beyond, then maybe that's the kind of imperfection that I don't want to stick around, but that's me. People are different. Other women have the mindset that if your man has never struck you or lost all control and started acting like a madman because of some action, something you did, then he doesn't love you enough. Miss me with the nonsense. It simply tells me he's immature and lacks the capacity to contain himself. And I don't want to be around such people personally. That's my own personal choice. So if you want to be with such people, fine. My people have a proverb that even used clothes still come with buttons. So every psychopath or sociopath or narcissist has one woman somewhere that has been ordained to endure the nonsense. And if you happen to be that woman, that's fine. For me, when I see things like this, my only concern is don't recruit other girls. Because for me, I see it maybe cynically as a recruitment process. Other young girls who are, just coming up, have not really seen the ins and outs of life enough, they're still very naive, might now read something like this and conclude that maybe it's not that bad after all, and stick with somebody who is abusing them when they have the opportunity to leave. This person is not her husband, he is a boyfriend. And the only reason I mention husband is because marriages are so much more difficult to break. I'm not saying that husbands have a right to beat their wives. No. I'm just saying that if you're already married to a man who is like that, I understand it when you have difficulty leaving because it's not easy. You can't just pack up and disappear. Especially when there are children it's a blending of two families here in Nigeria. It's not just man, woman. It's more than that. There's so much to it. It's more difficult when you are married. Which is why for me, I always emphasize that the time to pick and choose is now that you're single. You see any toxic trait. You see this thing this man is doing now that she's just girlfriend. It will be amplified when they are married. In many instances, it will be amplified. In many instances, anything you are uncomfortable with while dating, know that this person is mindful of the fact that you can leave them now and is still doing this to you. What now happens when they know that your capacity to leave has been hampered by marriage? You think that's when you'll get a better deal? And you'll hear people saying, it doesn't apply to everybody. I know this man who used to beat his girlfriend and treat her very badly, but she stuck around for 7 years. Now that he has married her, he has calmed down. What nonsense. Why did she have to go through all of that rubbish for 7 years? Why? And for my part, I think that parents are partly responsible for this thing, this mindset. Because we have a culture of beatings in Nigeria that is horrendous. Go to Facebook. Go to any mother's group or family group or anything like that, and you'll be shocked. Yesterday, my child refused to, 3-year-old. They're talking of a 3-year-old that doesn't yet really have a full comprehension of anything. They're talking of a 3-year-old. Yesterday, my boy refused to do his assignment, so I beat him. My child is always refusing to eat beans. Oh, I've beaten and beaten and beaten him, and we will not stop. These are mothers, so biological mothers. My son is 4 years old. He's still wetting the bed. Oh, I've beaten him and beaten him and beaten him. He has not stopped. Everything beating. Everything beating. And in the Nigerian context, when a parent, especially a mother, says that she had cause to put hands on her child, it's usually not a pretty sight. It's an all-out, it's not a spanking. Oh. A spanking is like when you give a few slaps to the bum or maybe use a small stick or a ruler on a child's palm. It's not usually that kind of thing. It's usually all out, like they beat that child as if the child is their age mate. Why? The child, he has been failing his exam. I keep using the male pronoun, but the truth is that it applies to both sexes or genders or whatever the correct term is now. Broken plates, beatings. Burnt food, beatings. Watching TV, beatings. Playing with friends, beatings. What is the problem? And then at the end of the day, we wind up socializing our children to believe that violence is the first place to go to when you have a problem that needs solving. So look at the picture of the man that beat this woman up. This man looks like a professional weightlifter. She did not bother to avail us with information about what he does for a living, but look at how he's built. This person looks like he's either a professional weightlifter or wrestler or boxer. This is the kind of person who should ordinarily not be in a fight with another man. Never mind beating a woman up. Look at the arms on that man. And yet, she's proudly on social media telling us how she doesn't give an F about who feels what. If you don't give an F, why are you all over the place on social media telling us things that nobody asked you? So that you'll deceive other young girls to think that the nonsense you are going through is normal. Because you yourself, something, and when it is, I'm not a professional, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a mental health expert. I'm just talking as a normal human. Even a goat, they say even a goat, if you push it to the wall, it turns around to bite. So it is a natural reaction to want to escape beatings, physical abuse, and things like that, until it comes to man-woman relationships. Or let me not even reduce it to heterosexual relationships. Because even homosexual relationships, I understand that the violence there is even worse than in heterosexual relationships. How can two people who are grown and mature adults not be able to sit down and say, she said she wanted to enjoy herself. She does not break down to us what enjoying herself was about. Maybe she went out and she couldn't be reached and came back home very late at night. That's assuming they live together, because it's all very sketchy. That would upset anybody. A woman would be upset if a man went out and she couldn't reach him, and then he comes back and the only thing that's on his mouth is, I wanted to enjoy myself. Whatever the circumstances were, normal human beings, reasonable people will sit down and talk it out. Why did you do that? No, I don't like it. Why will you go out and I will not be able to reach you, and then you'll come home so late at night? Please don't do it to me. I don't like this kind of behavior. It's enough. Somebody who is invested in that relationship, that is enough for that person to learn from there, apologize, and take steps to make sure that they do not repeat that behavior next time. That's what normal people do. But when for whatever reason something is wrong upstairs, this is the kind of feedback you get. He's trying. So women who are in relationships where their men are not beating them up, it's because those men are not trying. Many of our sisters need help, some serious help. I've come across various studies that show that women in Nigeria believe that men have a right to beat them up. And most of it is wrapped around some kinds of cultural stuff. And it's wrong. Because from that simple beating, something else could go. It was on the same channel I told you people about the lady in Kenya whose hands got chopped off. Also by a living love that she had had a child with. That person was not married to her. Now he has succeeded in seriously hampering her development. She'll struggle through life with everything, basic stuff. Cooking, cleaning herself, she'll struggle. One hand was totally taken off, and the other hand was severely injured. So please, like I always say, my talks are directed to young ladies between the ages of 20 and 30. If you are much older, and I understand that there are some women out there who will tell you that they only feel loved when their man hits them and things like that, it's your business. I don't understand it. I don't come from that kind of background. My parents didn't hit me growing up. I'm not in a marriage where I get battered. So I try to comprehend it, and it doesn't work for me. That's like me trying to understand how an Eskimo is able to live in ice. So that's where I'm coming from. And if I sound very myopic, everybody forgive me, but it's not something I can comprehend. And I have seen real life situations like this, even now. So maybe the development sector approach to this thing has to be some level of awareness creation, maybe right from primary school, that beatings, violence, and things like this are not the answer to anything. If you find the need to use your fists or get physical with somebody, it means your communication skills are very, very poor. Or you're just a very mean person. Because this same man, despite all his muscles and everything, somebody will challenge him and insult him outside, insult him down to his mother, and he will not do anything because that person is also a man. But when he comes home, he'll get all macho and start beating a woman and putting her in hospital. And there she is, singing his praises to the high heavens on social media. And she'll finish and say that she doesn't give a damn what anybody says. We will say, why? Because you brought it to social media. So ladies, I beg, young ladies particularly, if you are dating a guy, the very first time he puts hands on you, ordinary boyfriend, no matter what you did, leave. It shows a lack of control. It shows lack of maturity. It shows poor communication skills. And above everything else, it shows cowardice. You know why? He will not fight another man at the drop of a hat like that. Most of them don't. In fact, many of them are considered gentlemen outside. Yeah, these are the same people who, the minute they knock on the door and madam knows that they are the ones, so the wife will begin to tremble and shake. And they begin to feel nice because they've succeeded in putting terror into the person who is supposed to be their best friend. If you're in one of those relationships, now is the time to leave. If you marry the man, sorry is your middle name.